Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, Mega 31. Hope you had a great weekend. 2 more weeks of baseball. We'll still be covering it for you. Still money to be made. And we have, what is that, 9 game slate here. No weather concerns, which is nice, starting at 7:10 p.m. Eastern time. So, first game, we got the Nationals and the Mets. Jake Irvin and Sean Manaea. Not interested in Irvin. I know that the Mets might be a little watered down with Lindor's having some back issues, going for an MRI, might be out of the lineup. But I think there's still enough power and potential in this lineup that I'm not going to be super interested in him. Sean Manaea has been doing really well. I know that the Nationals have actually, with this youth infusion, the lineup has been pretty strong at times, and go out there and put up some runs, but they only have a 3.21 total. Manaea has actually been very solid recently, so I like him as the top pitcher in the medium range. Bat wise, I think Washington's a contrarian stack there. Probably the righties, Cruz, like he's like 5K. That's just kind of crazy. Shapiro, Yepes, Reed's the catcher. That's probably where I'd go there. And then with the Mets, Nimmo should be leading off with again with Lindor out. Alonso you can play, Winker, and that's a bunch of righties after that. So I guess whoever you want in that, but I like the Mets. That's probably my third favorite stack, but it's just kind of hard to figure out who I want in the stack. Dodgers and Braves should be a good matchup. We have Yamamoto and Max Fried. Yamamoto should be maybe up to like 70, 75 pitches now. Still only second start back. Again, there are some strikeouts definitely in this Braves lineup, and the wind is blowing in 10 miles per hour. So that should help. But I don't know if he gets that far at 9.5K. That's just priced up way too much for a pitcher that's not going to go that deep in the game and might not even get the win, especially on FanDuel to try to get the quality start. I don't think he gets there. Reed on the other side has been up and down the season. I really just don't like him against the Dodgers. I think he's in play in the mid range if you're mass multi entering, but I think that offense might win here, even though the total for the game is only 7.5. I think both these teams just say GPP to me with they've got really good bullpens behind the starters, so I don't think that it's going to be a high scoring game. If you want to, I'd just stack either side of it. I wouldn't take any one offs in any either side of this game. Oakland and the Chicago Cubs, Estes and Imaniana. Estes against the Cubs have been pretty hot. Now, the wind is blowing in about 6 miles per hour, so that does help pitching 76 degrees, but that's not like significant. I mean, it does help, but it isn't going to be like prohibited. So, Estes, I really think if you need somebody in the mid range, he's fine, but probably there's so many other ones over him that I like. And Imaniana is probably one of my favorite pitchers here if I can get to him at 9.3, but if I want to play like bats in Coors Field, it's going to be hard to do that. Bat wise, Emiliana has given up some power, so the righties here, Rookers, Langoliers, Geloff might move up a little bit in the lineup, so maybe a small three man there, but I don't think I go a full stack. And then the Cubs, I really like them. Second favorite, nice pivot off of Arizona if you want. Against Oakland bullpen, Happ, Swanson, Suzuki, Bellinger, um, Bush, Crow, Armstrong. There's a lot of great combinations of lineups that you can go there. Philadelphia and Milwaukee could be a playoff preview here at some point, and both teams doing quite well. Rangers Suarez and Savale. Rangers Suarez has been solid. I think probably my fourth favorite pitcher if you're paying up. Milwaukee has been pesty. They put up like 10 runs last night against Arizona. Pretty exciting game that they had there. Maybe it was more. I think they had 11 runs because I think Milwaukee had 10 and they walked it off. And so this lineup's definitely producing, even without Yelich. They've got some very, very good young talent that's really starting to come together here. So could be exciting to watch in the playoffs. So Suarez, I think, is a little bit risky, and then Savali on the other side. Um, I don't know. He's been good in the cheap range, but this Philly lineup has been good also. They're starting to get players back. JT Realmuto's back, and I think they're pretty much almost at full strength now. So, and just look out. So GPPs, if you want to take some shots, I'm fine with it. But we've seen if he does get in trouble, he gets yanked sooner than you think because Milwaukee's got a decent bullpen behind him. So again, in play, but not one of my favorite plays today. That wise, I think Philly's the my fifth favorite stack here um, against like Schwarber, Harper, uh, Baum should be back. Turner, Stotts, Marsh, probably the lefties, but there's some righties you can definitely mix in to make the lineup correlate better. And then Milwaukee, I don't really struggle in a GPP. Churio, Contreras, or Sanchez, whichever one you want to take. Adames has been doing well. Perkins should hit in the middle of the order. Hoskins has some potential. Even Ortiz at third base wraparound. Terang is probably the only one, and I don't mind or Mitchell, that would be lefties, and I don't even mind them mixed in there too. Detroit and Kansas City looks like Reese Olson's coming back from the IL. He only threw like 3 innings, 45 pitches twice, so I don't think he's even ready to go. Like he is a good pitcher. 7K is a good price tag for him, but I think that might, even though I have him as the top, I forgot that he was coming when I first grading out. He looked good, but then when I remember he was coming back off the IL, I thought again, and he probably would move over to the fade no interest one, and I'd move everybody up one and probably put Cannon over here in the cheap one. We'll talk about that when we get to him. Seth Lugo on the other side has been having a good season, but Detroit's been strong. They're knocking on the door of the playoffs. They're over 500. They're only a couple of games away from, I think, Minnesota for the final wild card. So this could be a very interesting finish. Like they've played really well against Baltimore. So that wise, I think you can play some Detroit. They're relatively cheap. Like besides Riley Green, who's 5K, like Carpenter, Parker Meadows, Cole Keith, Perez. Like the top five are all have the split advantage that you can play there. You can even like mix in Jace Jung and Trey Sweeney for some savings. It's a really inexpensive stack that I'll be having some shares of. And the Royals on the other side, I mean, you're not going to get to these pricing if you're trying to play Coors Field. But if you just want to do a Royal stack and hope that Coors doesn't go off, then and that the Detroit build is not horrible, but there might be some opportunities here. I'd like it better again if Vinny P's in there, but if you want to go like Pham, Witt, like Massey, Melendez, maybe Isbell as a wraparound, there's definitely some potential for a GPP stack there. Pittsburgh and the Cardinals, you have Skeens against Palente. Skeens, it doesn't look like they're limiting him at all. Probably has a couple more starts in him, so there's always the risk of that coming up. But I think you go out there and have a good game against the Cardinals, and it's probably my third favorite pitcher on the slate here if you're paying up. And Palente, I think in the mid range is or cheap range is not a bad. I wish like 72 is pretty um, hard to get to, but he's ground ball pitcher. The only one in the lineup that you really worry about are like Reynolds and Cruz is banged up. So it's just really Reynolds and the rest of them. There's plenty of strikeouts. So I think that he's definitely someone that we can look at if we're trying to save money and get to Arizona. Bat wise, I think St. Louis is against Skeens is probably just going to be a leverage stack, but Pittsburgh, if you did want to take on Palante, who has struggled and sometimes it really doesn't have a lot of strikeouts. Like if you want to do a mini stack, if Cruz is there and it looks like he's going to be healthy and good to go, but I really don't know who I would stack with them. That's why they're in the bottom of the cheap one, maybe a couple one-offs. Now Coors Field, 76 degrees, wind blowing out 10 miles per hour. Amazing hitting weather. Sensitive coming off of the IL for Colorado, no way. And then their bullpen is horrible. Merrill Kelly, we've seen some pitchers do okay at Coors, so if you wanted to go there 6 deep, but with the weather conditions and everything, I think that probably won't be playing a ton of them, but I just wanted to mention that is an option if you're mass multi entering. So Arizona, play everybody. They are priced up. They're expensive. Marte is 6'6", Carroll is 6K. Jack Pearson 4'9" is okay. My minor pinch hit risk there. Christian Walker 5'9", Jake McCarthy 5K. Pavin Smith they left down there, so if he's in the lineup at 3.5, that's affordable. Moreno catcher at 3.5. Suarez at 5. I mean, it's just gonna be hard. You're gonna have to maybe put two cheap pitchers there. You get the full throttle stack there, but at least with a couple maybe value plays, you might be able to get there with a decent mid-range pitcher. Colorado side of it, I'm definitely interested. Is probably top GPP stack. Blackman, Tovar, McMahon, Toglia, Norman Jones. Probably anyone but Hunter Goodman or Cave you can play in that one. White Sox and Angels, Cannon, Detmers. I think both these pitchers are in play. Both the lineups have struggled and are banged up or just bad. So Cannon at 5K doesn't really have to do much to pay off his tags. So I have him in the fade, no interest. But like I said, I'm probably gonna move Olson over, and I think Cannon. I'm talking myself more and more into taking some shots in GPP, or if especially at GPP, if I want to get like a full throttle Arizona stack, I'm gonna need that discount there. And Reed Detmers is probably, besides Mania, like my favorite mid-range pitcher here. Should go out there and get some strikeouts. And he's actually performed really well recently. I think most of the last 3 games were like 20 DK points, maybe 2 or 3 games. I remember looking at back at some of the box scores. So um, definitely in play. And these, if you're not playing one of these pitchers, these teams are your fill-ins with your Arizona stacks to make it work because they are dirt cheap. Houston and they get bullpens after these starting pitchers that are pretty bad. Houston and San Diego Padres, another like got some really good like baseball matchups here, like Dodgers, um, Braves with Milwaukee and Philly, and then Houston and San Diego. These are just really good baseball games. DFS wise, I don't know. Aaron Getty struggled with some power. I think San Diego is really starting to come together and I played a San Diego stack on Sorare. If you know what that is, the baseball NFT like trading card game, and that took first place. They had just such a good weekend. And then you Darvish on the other side, I think is okay, but he's been struggling a lot recently. He's down to 8K and giving up some power. So uh, both these pitchers are playing the mid range, but rather Monero and Detmers, I think, are the top of the class there. Darvish, Fried, and Eric Getty are there for mass multi entering if you want to. And bat wise, I think Houston makes an interesting GPP stack because nobody's going to be paying up for Tucker and Alvarez when they're the same price as the Coors guys, but they definitely have a chance to be just as productive, even though it's more of a pitching park in San Diego. So, game theory, if you want to take similar values at lower ownership, then they might a Houston stack might be good. And I really like a San Diego stack here on the other side. And besides Tatis at 5-1, they've gotten really cheap. I never play Reza, he's a contact hitter, not good for DFS. But Reza, Profar, Machado, Merrill, Arrigetti's a little bit reverse switzy. So even Bogarts, Higgis Higgy, the catcher, Higashioka, as a wraparound there at 3.5 has some power against lefties usually, but if Getty's a reverse switch pitcher, that works out too for you. So lots of ways to go. Let's look at some bills to get you on your way for your day. So give me Manea up there, and then Detmers or Palante, if depending on how much salary you need to build your stack. Catcher, punt, take the cheapest guy. Probably gonna be a White Sox. I don't care if he's going against your pitcher. You just need somebody in that roster spot. Um, I'm I'm okay taking a zero there if I get everything else I want. So give me have Smith, give me Marte, third base. If you'll have to see if you can get it to Suarez or if you um, need to punt that. I'm going to go Neto and Adams from the Angels. Again, if you want to, if you're not going to Emerson and Palante, if you want to fill in with White Sox, that works too. Carroll, and then decide Peterson or who you want to go for with the other outfield spot there. In GPP, give me a Mignogna and Cannon, and then I'm doing a stack of the Cubs and Padres, which I absolutely love. So catcher, figure out whatever works for you there. Bush, second base. I mean, you can go. I don't do Reza, but Cronenworth or Sandy Bogart works for there. If you wanna, depending on where Honer bats in the lineup, and he should be in play also. Machado, Swanson. I'm okay if you don't go Swanson. If you want to go with like Xander there or somebody else, and then Tatis, and then I'll leave it up to you if you want to take Merrill there, or if you want to take another Cub like Suzuki or Hap. I'm fine with that. So I got for you. If you have questions, put chat below. Hit me at Megawar31 on Twitter/X. If you want more information on FSi DFS, you can go to the description of the video and get to our pricing page. And if these videos help us back, like, subscribe to the channel, share with friends. So I hope your week starts off amazing. I will try to get out a video for Monday Night Football tonight. And McKinley will have tomorrow's video. I'll have Wednesday. And until then, I'll see you next time.